Hi, dude, Tony and John, and nice to
Hello.
meet you guys. I'm from Lima, and I work for a technology company, and we were planning to launch a SaaS product. So the question I made was, how do I build a product roadmap? So it started with jobs to be done with qualitative interviews. Then put together the surveys, find out who the job executors were, and launch the survey, but didn't get statistically significant amount of data.
Yeah.
Now, based in a limited amount of data, I put together the opportunity map, got the scoring, found that there was a lot of concentration on underserved customers, and I built based on that data. But I'm wondering what are the risks of trying to launch a product that was follow the process, but there is no statistically significant data based upon that.
Excellent. That's such a great question. So thanks, Manuel, for asking that question. Let me go to this slide here. So it sounds like you've got to this stage here where you've identified unmet needs, but you're saying your sample size is low. So I can give you dozens of stories here, but I'll give you a couple. You know, at one extreme, we've worked with social media companies that had sample sizes of 14,000 people to fill this thing out. Now, I'm guessing you didn't fall into that category. You're on the other end of the scale. And we've worked in assignments with jet fighter pilots, where there were like 15 jet fighter pilots that we could possibly interview and get data from. And so we get those 15, right? That's all you can get. And you're hoping that it's good enough. But in the case of the fighter pilots, obviously that's a very small population. So getting 15 is actually a fairly good percentage of the overall number of fighter pilots that exists. And you can feel pretty comfortable that that data is reliable. But keep in mind, what we're really trying to do here is separate these outcomes on the right, the underserved outcomes, from the overserved outcomes. Like, what you don't want to do is to spend all your time and effort developing tools to get the overserved outcomes done better, right? You want to make sure you're focusing on these over here. So the real goal of the quantitative research is to separate that out. So then the question becomes, you know, did you do that correctly? Let's assume you did. You know what the unmet needs are. Then the question is, well, is number one unmet need really number one, or is it number 3 or 5 or number 10? And is the one that you're saying is number 7? Is it number 2 or 3? You won't know. But what you do know is, of those top 10 or 15 or 20 unmet needs that you've discovered, those are the unmet needs, right? You may not have the right priority order, but you at least have separated them from the overserved outcomes and the rest of these outcomes. So you're focused on the right things, but you may not be focused on them in the right priority order.